Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening whenever you may be listening, and welcome to Latitude, the 43 North podcast. I'm your host, Nate Benson, Director of Media here at 43 North, and this is a bonus episode of the podcast. That's right, 2 episodes in 1 week. Have we all gone mad? No, we had a little event at 43 North this week. You may have seen it on social media. It was the Year 5 launch event. We've launched the Year 5 of the general application of the 43 North competition, the $5 million startup competition. It's one of the biggest ones in the world, and it happens right here in Buffalo, New York. So, I'm going to stop talking, and we're going to jump right into that press conference where we explain what's new this year in the 43 North competition.
Okay, we ready to get started? You here? Come on. Great, thank you. Thank you all for being here. I think a lot of you know who I am. I'm the outgoing chairman of 43 North, and thankfully this is the last time you're probably going to have to listen to me. And as usual, Peter gave me this big elaborate thing of notes, and I've condensed them to one piece of paper, so I'll be brief. I want to start out by welcoming you all here to the launch of our Year 5 event. I'm fairly certain in a moment you're going to hear about some of the exciting things we're going to do to continue to enhance the competition, and I'll save all that exciting news for the team here at 43 North. I want to first recognize our panel. I want to start out by welcoming the Lieutenant Governor, Kathy Hochul. Thank you for joining us. I just have to say this, now that, I'm done being chairman and I can go off script a little bit. If there's anyone in the state who has been a staunch supporter of 43 North, it's our Lieutenant Governor. You're not here because you have to. You're here because you want to be. And I want you to know it is very inspirational for all of us, the staff, our board. We recognize how much you believe in us, and I thank you as the past chair for everything you've done to support us. Thank you very much. Also on the panel, we have Alex Gress, our new executive director, Eric Reich, who is our new chairman. Last year's winner, Bethany Deshpande, and from Atlanta, right? Atlanta? Yes? Davielle Jackson. And we'll be hearing from those 2 winners a little bit later on. I also want to recognize our board members who are here today. I think Tyra Johnson is here today and Pete Grum. Guys, thank you so much for being here and for your tremendous dedication. Other dignitaries, I think we have Rick Smith from NYPA is here. NYPA has been a huge supporter of 43 North. And on behalf of the mayor, Rebecca Grander is here as well. So thank you so much for being here. I want to take a moment to recognize our outgoing executive director, John Gavigan. Now, I'm not trying to extend the John Gavin Victory Tour that started in August, but I haven't had an opportunity publicly to recognize John for his outstanding leadership of 43 North these past 3 years. I still remember the day when we sat down, Jordan Levy and I and other board members, and we're convinced that John was the absolute right guy for the job at that time, and we could not have been more right about that. John, thank you very much. And I'd like to ask for a round of applause to recognize John for his job. Thank you. I would be remiss also to not mention one of our founders who worked very closely with Albany, Jordan Levy. He's typically not at these events, but Jordy sends his regards. The other thing that I want to do is, we have an outstanding staff, and in light of everything else that we do, transitioning our Year 4 winners, getting ready to start the competition, we were also transitioning our chairman and into a new executive director. And for timing reasons, so on and so forth, we couldn't close those things out until really roughly about 2 weeks ago. And I want to recognize the staff for really working closely with me and with Eric and helping to kind of continue to move all that momentum. We never lost any momentum, and specifically I want to thank Peter Burakowski, Colleen Heidinger, and Lauren Rivet for their great job in helping to work with me to keep everything moving along. Just briefly on 43 North, 37 companies in 4 years. Those companies now have raised in excess of $85 million and managed that. $85 million. We've created over 400 jobs. 200 of them are here in Western New York. I think I got my facts right. And I recognize, though, and I said this back in October at the competition, that 43 North, at the end of the day, our legacy will be about how many companies we brought to Buffalo and how many jobs we created. But I also recognize that it's about building a sustainable entrepreneurial momentum. And 43 North is just one small part of that. There are so many great organizations now, whether it's the university, whether it's Launch New York. I mean, I can go on and on. I don't want to mention everybody because I know I'll forget somebody, who are working to build the sustainable entrepreneurial momentum in this community. What's also important is that we convince the youth of Western New York that they can go away to college and come back knowing that the infrastructure is here to support their desires to someday be an entrepreneur. And I'm very, very happy to recognize students from East Community High School are here today. So thank you very much for being here, and we look forward to you being future business owners. I want to take a moment now to recognize Eric Reich, who is our incoming chairman. Eric, unbeknownst to a lot of people, was the first Panache winner at the University of Buffalo. And I remember when he was doing his closing interview, one of the things he was asked about what you're going to do with the money if you win this award, or what are you going to do if you win this award? And it wasn't about the money. He really believed in his idea and his company, and I think we all know kind of where that went. His biggest priority was to make University of Buffalo proud. And I think since that time, he's not only made the University of Buffalo proud, he's made our community proud. And we're very lucky to have him as our chairman. Other than having really bad taste in clothes, although he's dressed phenomenally well today. I could tell you some great stories. I will not tell you the stories today because I don't have time, but come see me. I've got some great stories about him. But his greatest accomplishment recently was just being appointed to the board of Ted's Hot Dogs, which happens to be his favorite restaurant. So congratulations, Eric, and I wish you all the best. I assure you Eric is going to take 43 North to a new level, without a doubt. Last but not least, before I hand over the microphone, I want to introduce our new executive director. What's your name again? Alex Gress. Alex started with us a few weeks ago. Alex is the former treasurer of First Niagara Bank. He has a long, long history on the private equity M&A side, VC side. Most recently was an executive vice president at KeyBank. We're extremely excited about your leadership. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for your attention and hand the mic over to, well, actually, I'm going to hand it over to Kathy. I got it right, Peter. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. First of all, it's an honor to be here today, and I first want to obviously thank Bill for his years of leading the board, his leadership, and most importantly, his mentorship to the team and to me personally. So first of all, round of applause for Bill. And prior to Bill, Jordan Levy for being one of the architects to help establish this. And I want to say I'm excited to work with Eric going forward in Eric's new capacity as chairman of the board. And, obviously thank the board for the opportunity to kind of help take 43 North to its next generation and its next version. And as I do that, I do want to also thank Mr. John Gavigan. As we said, John had built a phenomenal base here. And as John had, I'm honored to carry the torch for the next few years. So thank you. So with that, we're here today to talk about the public launch of the application period for 43 North. So a couple of things. So similar last year, again, $5 million in total cash prizes being awarded. Structure will be a little bit different this year. We're going to have $1 million grand prize winner, 6 $500,000 cash awards, and then we will do something a little bit different this year. We'll go up to $1 million in follow-on funding, which will be awarded in multiple investments at the end of 2019. So we're very excited about being able to do that. As you know, as part of the program and with 43 North and our structure here, you get incubation space. You get access to a strong mentorship program across the community, access to media and marketing exposure, and of course the strength of the 43 North brand and our board to kind of help take companies to their next stage of development. So we're very excited about that, and we're excited to get this going on a public perspective today going forward. As we give out these awards, these companies, and we'll talk a little bit with two of our most recent winners, will relocate to Buffalo for at least a year, and with that, we take a 5% equity stake. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we kind of go through a few more discussions today. But for now, I want to make one more parting comment. Buffalo and 43 North has never seen a champion in Albany like Governor Andrew Cuomo and the Buffalo Billion. And with that, really honored to have Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul here, Buffalo's own Kathy Hochul, to say a few words about 43 North and the Buffalo Billion Initiative.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alex. Looking forward to your era of leadership. Tough act to follow. It's been a pleasure to work with John and one of the early visionaries, along with Bill, who I've so enjoyed working with, and the imprint and the legacy that you leave from your work collaboratively. And Jordy, the people who believed in Buffalo, like the governor did, long before Buffalonians believed in themselves. And so that is something that we are all benefit. It's intangible, but it's real. I do notice there's a couple changes around here. I couldn't find the ping pong table when I walked in. I usually like to relieve a little stress when I walk in the door, so if we can get that resurrected, just a personal point of privilege here. I love coming here. I come not just for the big Academy Awards type atmosphere that we have at Shays, which is one of the most spectacular evenings. I love doing that event, and there's such an electricity in that room, and people who've not been to Buffalo before, and they bring their families and their friends and their coworkers, and they say, wow, we had no idea Buffalo was this cool. And I love when people walk away with that sensation of something that we've known a long time. It has been a secret for most of my life, how fabulous this is. But it's not just us recognizing it. It is Entrepreneur Magazine that now says we are number 2 in the nation for having the best entrepreneurial community in which to start a business. It's not just us. It is Inc. magazine that says, forget Silicon Valley. There's only 3 other cities you should look at, and one of them was Buffalo. So when we envision this as part of the Buffalo Billion, $1 billion to help bring back Buffalo to greater heights, this concept was revolutionary, had never been done before, to unveil the largest business plan competition in the world in Buffalo. I'm sure it raised a lot of eyebrows. But guess what? We have exceeded all expectations, and when I travel this state constantly, people now know about 43 North and what it has done to create an ecosystem where it was there before, but not in a way that was cohesive, where people knew it was there. So now, when we have the opportunity to attract new businesses here, even independent of this competition, they know that they're joining people who've come from all over this globe to share in the excitement of being in the new Buffalo, which is one of the tremendous outgrowths of the investments of the Buffalo Billion. So I will say it is not just the spectacular transformation of areas like Canal Side, where as soon as this weather gets better, I'll be riding my bike. And to the individuals who've come from other cities, there is such a thing as summer. Just hold on, it's coming. But also the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus, the ribbon cuttings we've had there, what's going on with Tesla and Panasonic. These are the big visual manifestations of the investments in Buffalo Billion, but what goes on in this building is just as impactful for the psychology of the people here, our ability to attract young people who were forever our greatest export was our young people, including my kids and my siblings. Now they're saying, I was the smart one because I stayed. And that is what we're hearing from many people as we attract young people from all over, and the expats who are now saying it is a spectacular quality of life. So 43 North, you have put us on the map in a way that we could not have imagined. I want to thank everyone who had a role in this, because the governor and I are so proud that we can take the lesson of 43 North in Buffalo and replicate it with various business plans in different parts of the state. But now people recognize Buffalo as the entrepreneurial capital of our nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for being here today. And with that, now I ask our incoming chairman, Eric Reich, to come up and say a few words in terms of his vision for the next stages of 43 North.
Thanks, Alex. First, I certainly want to recognize and thank Bill for his role as chairman, and I think he spoke earlier about how complicated and how many moving parts there were to this transition from John to Alex and from Bill to me. So thank you very much for your support and help in that area. And obviously I want to thank Jordy Levy as well. Jordy has really been the conductor of sorts in this entrepreneurial ecosystem over the last 20 years. And without him, this competition wouldn't exist. My company wouldn't exist, and there'd be far fewer jobs here than there are today. So I just want to say that Jordy's efforts are not only appreciated, but they're also realized in many people's lives here in Buffalo. I take the long view that it takes 20, 25 years to create a true sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystem. So as far as I'm concerned, we're not even a quarter of the way there. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of tenacity to grow and start and build a company. So what these companies are trying to do is very, very difficult. And by extension, what the staff at 43 North are trying to do is also very, very challenging, because you're working with entrepreneurs and trying to inspire them to apply and take a leap and understand the resources that might be available in the competition, and also if they were to get through and to win. Although those efforts are very challenging and very difficult, the rewards are both substantial and gratifying for those companies and the local area. So I'm excited to work with the 43 North team to make this competition even better and bring it to new heights. As an entrepreneur that employs almost 200 people here in downtown Buffalo, I often think what it would be like if we had another 10 or 20 campus labs in downtown Buffalo. There would be a lot more going on, and a lot more opportunity in this entrepreneurial ecosystem for the people who work at those companies and people who are looking to move to more dynamic, fluid places to work, who could have new opportunities that maybe aren't available in larger, more established organizations. So that is my motivation, both to build companies but also build more opportunity for the people who are already in Buffalo, who are looking to do something more interesting and potentially continue their own professional development. I feel like the competition is situated to succeed now more than ever. 2 years ago, we made a strategic shift towards focusing on the quality of submissions rather than the quantity of submissions. We want to focus on companies that follow a very specific criteria that we believe are indicators for their success as a company, but also for their success where Buffalo is a key part of that success. That requires referrals from a large network that Alex and John before him have cultivated in the investor community, in the community of accelerators and other entrepreneurial activity. And then once we start interacting with these companies, they really require direct conversations with a degree of honesty and transparency to understand if they're a good fit for the competition and, candidly, if they're a good fit for Buffalo. We don't want to waste anyone's time if the fit isn't there. We're going to continue to bring great companies here. The last thing that I want to talk about is it's really a team game. Everyone has a role to play. So whether you're someone who could potentially use one of our companies for a product or a service, or to buy their product, I encourage you to think about doing that. If you're a service provider or investor, these companies are opportunities for you to do some business with them and help them along the way. If you're a student who's looking to get involved and do something a little bit more interesting and a little bit more substantial that might be outside of the general curriculum, or if you're a person who's inspired and sees the success of this company, maybe one day you'll start your own business and start your own company. So there's a lot of different ways to get involved. I call on all of you to think about that and potentially do something that not only will be beneficial and fruitful for you, but also for your community. With that, I'll give it back to Alex. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Now we've got a chance to hear from a pair of 2017 43 North winners. So first up, Bethany Deshpande from Soma Detect. And Bethany, maybe talk for a moment about what your experience has been like and how and Bethany had won the $1 million grand prize last year, and how being a winner has impacted your company.
Thank you. Yeah. So Soma Detect is a milk quality and dairy data company. We help farmers make the best possible milk with the resources that we have today. And we were so excited to win 43 North last year, totally shocked as well. But it has been incredible. From the first moment of moving to the city in January all the way till now in April, we've received incredible support from the entire 43 North community. I think there's a lot of staff within the organization that very clearly care about your everyday, that care about ensuring that you have the people, that you have the resources, that you have, even down to sort of the tea and coffee that you need to get things done right, as well as just an incredible welcome from the city of Buffalo. I think it's rare to see a community that is this welcoming and this open to people certainly coming from the outside and coming in. And so that has meant a lot to me. I think even before I moved here, I had someone send me an email that said, now that you're a Buffalonian, kind of thing. And that had never happened to me before. That was really a fantastic thing to see. So yeah, it's been incredible for our business to be connected with the dairy community here in Western New York, with the dairy farmers, and just absolutely wonderful to have the support that we have from all of you. So I thank you.
It's great. Thank you, Bethany. And I should have mentioned all the way from New Brunswick, Canada, to come here. So next up, Davielle Jackson from Atlanta, Georgia, and Femi Secrets. So maybe, Davielle, a few moments on Femi Secrets, and what does it feel like to be embraced by Buffalo?
Absolutely. Femi Secrets is your leading brand prioritizing women in health, lifestyle, and we have some pretty cool patented products to make women's lives a little easier. And of course, we won the competition. Just the competition alone was so exciting, so fun. One of my partners who was in the NFL, he said, this was better than the Super Bowl. He was so scared. He was like, we were at the competition and he said, is the floor moving? I'm like, no, straighten up. But as Bethany said, Buffalo has a revitalizing spirit. Just the other couple of days ago, I was at the Women's Month event with the Lieutenant Governor. And when I left that event, 3 women came up to me and it was like, whatever we can do to help you, we're going to help you. We have a meeting set at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. And I'm like, okay. So when I leave the 43North staff, who's completely supportive of us and the brand, I go on to a meeting with the community. One of our biggest projects we're working on right now is a manufacturing facility here in Buffalo. And of course, with the tariffs and everything going on and the trade wars, that'll be pretty exciting, and we want to get that on the road fast. But at the facility, I met with one of the women from the Women's Month, and she said, do you like this? I located a location that I want to use, and she was like, do you like this place? I was like, yes, this is the place. She was like, I'm going to the courthouse and get you some money. I was like, oh. Well, thank you. So as well as being here with the winners, like it's an atmosphere of greatness. It's like contagious. They understand what each other go through. So they know that how we have to take risks every day, how it's completely draining and how it's so difficult, but to be able to look to the desk beside you and be like, how's it going? And, it helps you out. So the experience with Buffalo as well as 43 North has been great for us, Femi Secrets. I just recently located all of my stuff here, so that's a good sign that I'll be staying here longer than a year. But I'm excited about it. It's been good.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Davielle.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, I want to thank our panel for being here today and thank all of you for attending. And I really want to also acknowledge, just as Bill did earlier, just the hard work and dedication of the 43 North team, in pulling this together and taking forward, what is going to be a very intense, action-packed next few months. So with that, anyone can apply right now. Our application period is open at our website, which is 43north.org. That'll close May 31st at midnight. And with that, our public application period is now officially open. So thank you, everybody, for being here today.
That about does it for the 43 North press conference we had at the incubator. If you want to apply for the 43 North competition, the $5 million startup competition, head on over to 43north.org, and there's a giant button that says Apply Now. You want to give yourself some time, though. It's a very in-depth application because we're looking for the best startups that are the best fit for Buffalo. And there's plenty of ways to ask us questions during the application process, so don't be afraid to reach out to any of the staff members at 43 North via social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or email info@43north.org. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the bonus edition of Latitude, the 43 North podcast. I'm your host, Nate Benson. For 43 North, we'll see you at the next one.